Razer Huntsman V2 Analog, best for tinkerers. Combining the latest optical technology and Razer's analog mechanical key switches, the Razer Huntsman V2 Analog is good enough to get a 5-star rating from us. That's underselling it. This gaming keyboard delivers the best typing and gaming experience of any keyboard we've tested in the last few months, with extremely satisfying tactile feedback, and a wrist rest that's designed to let you game for longer. The elevator pitch for this keyboard is right there on the tin. It exists to replicate the feel of an analog stick. That isn't something we've seen before when it comes to the best gaming keyboards, and the Razer Huntsman V2 Analog makes quite the impression as a result. Designed with first-person shooters, racing games, and flight sims in mind, the Analog achieves its goal via variable actuation points. That means you can use degrees of pressure to get a different response. In essence, push harder on a key and your character will run faster. This might not sound like a big deal, but it is. Although many keyboards struggle with nuance when it comes to the in-game movement, changing from run to walk normally requires a hotkey, for example. The Analog imbues the WASD keys with a sense of precision they've never had before. You can gently amble around the map instead of pinballing across it, or get the drop on your foes by sneaking up on them slowly. None of this is necessary, yet it feels borderline essential once you've gotten used to it. Beyond that, the Huntsman V2 Analog offers the standard suite of Razer keyboard features, including a programmable software suite and full RGB lighting capabilities. As far as keyboards go, it is sitting on the expensive side of things, but it's definitely worth it. Corsair K100 Rgb, the best high-end gaming keyboard for work and play. When you want to go the extra mile and upgrade to the absolute best, it's hard to find a more premium option than the Corsair K100 Rgb. It has it all: dedicated media controls, macro buttons, a USB pass-through, a metal volume wheel, RGB lighting, and a plush wrist that magnetically attaches to the keyboard. The most notable feature, however, is its 4000 Hz polling rate, which promises to give you unmatched responsiveness. We also found its RGB-clad media wheel extra helpful for productivity tasks, such as zooming in and out of Photoshop. It proved less useful for gaming, however, as did some of the other features that make this keyboard so expensive. Of course, the K100 still makes for one of the best gaming keyboards. We could actually tell the difference offered by the optical mechanical switch's shorter travel and actuation point. And if you're not into the optical mechanical trend, you can also opt for Cherry's Speed Silver switches. During our tests, we noted excellent key responses, a decent spread of keys for most hand sizes, a satisfying tactile click to each press, and wonderfully dimpled keys to help you rest your fingers. While this all seems quite obvious, it shows that the K100 nails the basics, as well as including the fancy extras, and that's why it's top of the list. Corsair K70 Rgb TKL Champion Series, a tournament-ready keyboard with plenty of extra features. A compact 10-keyless version of Corsair's excellent full-size K70 Rgb Mk2 gaming keyboard, the $140 K70 Rgb TKL is designed for esports, but has features any competitive gamer will appreciate. It uses Corsair's accent processing technology to get a polling rate up to 8000 Hz, which virtually eliminates the chance that input lag is going to cost you a victory. At 8000 Hz, it reports key presses every 0.125 milliseconds, and it has a 4000 Hz keyscan rate, 4 times faster than competing keyboards, so it's both detecting and transmitting keystrokes far faster than the average gaming keyboard with a 1000 Hz polling rate. Corsair used Cherry MX Red mechanical switches, though in some regions it will be offered with MX Speed or silent switches as well. The regular linear red switches are fast, smooth, and just reliably good. Of course, optical switches would be preferred, but that would drive up the price, and the $140 price point is just what we appreciate about the K70 TKL. There's per-key RGB backlighting shining through durable double-shot PBT keycaps, and Corsair also includes some textured keycaps for gaming. The keyboard's layout is better for travel and it has a removable braided USB-A to USB-C cable. Next to the cable input, you'll find a switch that flips the keyboard into a tournament-ready mode. This makes the backlighting static, and disables macro activation so there's no accidental presses while playing. You can still use other keys like the media and volume controls, and change profiles. Corsair's IQ software was overhauled recently to make setting up lighting, programming macros, and remapping keys more straightforward. While you can create limitless profiles, and lighting layers that are accessible when using IQ, you can also store up to 50 individual profiles to the keyboard's onboard memory. Those are accessible without running IQ, and even when you're on systems that don't support IQ. You can also store up to 20 lighting layers. Like other Corsair keyboards, the K70 Rgb TKL is pretty expensive. Furthermore, while its discrete media keys come in handy, their non-standard configuration makes them a little more difficult to use than what you'd find on a full-size model. Aside from that though, the Corsair K70 Rgb TKL is a nearly flawless device. Rocket Vulcan 120 and 121 AMO, the sci-fi keyboard. Rocket advertises the Vulcan 120 as a precision gaming tool, and after getting our hands on the board, it's hard to argue with that. In terms of usability, the Vulcan 120 is really comfortable to use, and boasts a top mix of programmable keys, so it's handy for both gaming and everyday PC tasks. Its Titan switches are also among the very best we've ever placed our fingertips on. Powered by a 32-bit ARM Cortex processor, and featuring a sleek detachable wrist rest and lengthy braided cable, the Vulcan 120 delivers across the board. The only way the Vulcan 121 differs from the 120 is that it lets you choose between two kinds of key switches, a linear red and a tactile brown. Before, it was brown or bust. Logitech G915 Lightspeed, the best portable gaming keyboard. The Logitech G915 is a pretty amazing wireless gaming keyboard. It was made from the ground up to be low profile, between chiclet keyboard style keys, to its ultra slim chassis. It also uses low profile GX switches, basically customized Tkl switches, that offer a satisfying click, tactile bump, or smooth linear action despite their short height. As a wireless board, you can have it connected to up to 3 devices, over its wired, 2.4 GHz wireless, and Bluetooth interfaces. Logitech's latest wireless peripheral also offers the longest battery life out of any wireless gaming keyboard, with up to 35 hours with lighting turned on at full brightness. Of course, all this wireless gaming keyboard splendor is going to cost you. But, if money is no object, and you crave a portable form, we strongly recommend the Logitech G915. Steelseries Apex Pro, the most versatile gaming keyboard. The Apex Pro may be built around one headline feature, its ability to individually set the actuation point for every key, but it's also an incredibly solid, competitive gaming keyboard even without that groundbreaking customization. That said, adjusting the actuation point on a key-by-key basis is an incredible boon, particularly for anyone that splits their time between typing and gaming. If you find you struggle to decide between a linear and tactile switch, the Apex Pro offers you a hybrid that can satisfy both needs in the same model. Set a deeper actuation for typing, or higher when you need to spam keys in a MOBA or MMO. Or if you find you're frequently nailing a particular key by accident, and blowing your cooldown, you can set it individually to require that you bottom out, so you'll really need to push it with intention. The Apex Pro also features a novel OLED in the upper right-hand corner of the board, which lets you alter the actuation, handle media controls, or even display a tiny animated GIF. While it's more gimmick than necessity, it does let you alter some key settings without having to dig deep into a separate software suite. Mountain Everest Max, Jack of all trades. The Everest Max is the result of a successfully backed Kickstarter campaign, a fully customizable modular keyboard where it feels like every aspect of the design has been planned by the PC enthusiast community. Its modular design includes a media deck with an innovative display dial with boundless potential to monitor or change your PC performance, a left or right-handed numpad with 4 programmable macro keys similar to those seen on the Elgato Stream Deck, and a plush wrist rest. Mountain even includes a set of hot swappable key switches with the keyboard to help you get a feel for future modifications should you so choose. Being able to strip down from a full-size deck when the heat is on is a particularly useful feature, but we'd thoroughly recommend keeping that digital control dial in your setup. From tracking actions per minute to providing PC info, there's plenty of nifty features baked in here that turn your desk into a full command center. The base keyboard features 2 plates of milled aluminum, forming an incredibly solid frame, with the all-important all-round RGB LED strip in between them. That base board can be picked up as a pure small form factor TKL barebones unit, without switches, if you want to create your own gaming keyboard from scratch. It also comes with a nifty USB 3.2 Gen 1 hub on the rear, cable routing for its Type-C connection on the underside, and a set of magnetic feet you can build up to give you an angle to type on. Don't get us wrong, this isn't a cheap gaming keyboard. At almost $300 you'll need to know that you'll make the most of the features on offer here. However, this is a rare release that really does live up to its value. There's nothing quite like the Mountain Everest Max on the market right now.
Razer Ornata V2, the best hybrid gaming keyboard. Razer has updated its Ornata keyboard to continue offering a valuable option for gamers on a budget. The Ornata V2 replaces the unused space in the top right corner of the original keyboard with dedicated media controls, including a volume wheel. Having quick access to media controls is surprisingly handy once you get used to it. Beyond that update, you're still getting the same hybrid mecha membrane key switches that combine the feel of mechanical with the affordability of membrane. You'll also find a wrist rest that attaches to the keyboard with magnets. And there's no shortage of RGB LEDs to make the keyboard shine. That's per key RGB lighting, so you can customize it at a granular level. This is definitely one of the best gaming keyboards we've tested in 2020.
Steelseries Apex 5, the best mid-range gaming keyboard. Every once in a while, a gaming keyboard like the Steelseries Apex 5 comes along. These models attempt to combine the smoothness of a membrane keyboard with the responsiveness of a mechanical keyboard. They're not always wholly successful, but the price is right. The Apex 5 does indeed offer a somewhat better experience than a traditional membrane keyboard, with slightly more comfortable keys and a full RGB lighting suite. Granted, the small OLED screen in the upper right corner doesn't add much, and it doesn't offer a significant price break over a full mechanical keyboard, particularly if you're not married to RGB lighting. Still, if you want to get your feet wet in the world of mechanical gaming keyboards without committing fully, the Apex 5 represents a respectable middle ground. Rocket Pyro, the best cheap mechanical gaming keyboard. The Rocket Pyro shows you don't need to spend big to get a fully mechanical keyboard that's both comfortable and customizable. Other than some plasticky edges and an unpadded wrist rest, Rocket has hidden the affordable nature of this keyboard very well indeed. It uses linear, non-clicky TTC switches that feel as smooth as classic MX Reds, and in addition to the media controls built into the function keys, you get a Vulcan-style volume dial perched in the top left corner. Unlike a lot of cheap mechanical keyboards, the Pyro also has fully customizable RGB lighting. Despite the low price, the Rocket Pyro doesn't skimp on its software either. This is a fully remappable deck, configured through the program Swarm, and easy shift functionality can double up your macros for even more customization. At $100, the Pyro is a good deal for anyone who wants a proper mechanical board. Find it any cheaper, and it's a steal. Razer Black Widow V3 Mini Hyperspeed, best premium compact wireless gaming keyboard. The Razer Black Widow V3 Mini Hyperspeed is one of the best mini gaming keyboards you can buy. Unlike smaller models, the V3 Mini Hyperspeed features a 65% profile. That means you won't have to sacrifice discrete arrow keys or a dedicated delete button. That's great news for touch typists. For gamers, the V3 Mini Hyperspeed features comfortable Razer green or yellow switches, as well as full RGB lighting, which you can sync with your other Razer gear. Granted, the Black Widow V3 Mini Hyperspeed is extremely expensive, considering its size. Still, if your desk space is limited, the Black Widow V3 Mini Hyperspeed is good for typing, good for gaming, and good for saving room.
Corsair K95 Rgb Platinum and Platinum XT, the best gaming keyboard. When you want to go the extra mile and upgrade to the absolute best of the best, it's hard to find a better option than the Corsair K95 Platinum. The K95 Platinum is a big keyboard. Its enormous footprint still requires some desk cleaning before it can be nested comfortably. But feature-wise, the K95 Platinum's got it all. Dedicated media controls and a USB pass-through, a metal volume wheel, RGB lighting. While it's expensive, you do know what you're getting for your money here, and throughout 2019 we've seen the price of the K95 dropping steadily. We also love its detachable wrist rest, which makes things super comfortable for long gaming sessions. The rubberized wrist pad attaches magnetically, and it has two contrasting textures, one smooth and one rough side. Switching sides is as easy as flipping it over, and the added comfort it brings is exceptional. The Platinum XT is a slight improvement over the Platinum. They virtually offer the same gaming experience. Both are available with Cherry MX Speed and Brown switches, but the Platinum XT is available with Cherry MX Blue switches as well. It also has better build quality with double-shot PBT keys, but if this isn't a concern for you, the Platinum is just as good.
Hyperx Alloy Elite 2, everything you could want in a gaming keyboard. Hyperx has a fine pedigree when it comes to gaming keyboards, and the Alloy Elite 2 is another winner. It's very well constructed, with flexible lighting and a variety of dedicated media and volume keys, and it'll work just as well for general computing tasks as it will for gaming. The supplied HyperX software makes customizations a breeze, and you can produce some incredibly funky looking effects from this keyboard. Or just keep it simple and subtle, it's up to you. The solid steel frame and HyperX mechanical switches make for a pleasurable typing experience too. With USB pass-through, anti-ghosting technology, and N-key rollover functionality, as well as multi-platform compatibility, this is worth a spot on anyone's shortlist of the best gaming keyboards of the moment.
Razer Black Widow V3 Pro, the best wireless gaming keyboard. The Black Widow V3 Pro is an uncompromising gaming keyboard without the wired connection. Razer's wireless connection feels no slower than a cabled equivalent, meaning that this gives you all the benefits of wireless and none of the downside. It's a full-size keyboard with media keys and a great multifunction dial. The RGB lighting has a huge effect on battery life. Turn it off and you can get a healthy 200 hours of gaming, but put it on full blast and you're looking at more like 12 hours. Basically this feels like any other high-end keyboard but with the bonus of wireless convenience. Corsair K63 Wireless, lounge PC gaming at its finest. If you're a lounge PC gamer looking to enjoy the benefits of a proper gaming keyboard, you'll struggle to do better than the Corsair K63 Wireless. Bluetooth connectivity means it will work with pretty much any device, without the need to free up a separate USB port. It's also no slowpoke with regards to performance, coming loaded with Cherry MX Red switches, and a lightning-fast 1 millisecond response time. If you're after an all-in-one mouse and keyboard setup, the K63 Wireless is also compatible with Corsair's Lapboard, which can be used to create an entirely wire-free gaming experience from your couch. The only potential downside is its lack of RGB lighting, which will put off some flashier gamers. Razer Sonosa V2, the best in its class. Razer may have its share of pricey products, but it's also got a knack for making quality budget-friendly devices. And, if there's anything the Razer Sinosa V2 proves, it's that you don't have to spend an obscene amount of money on peripherals to get the best. Among the best gaming keyboards we've played on this year, this one's the best in its class, improving on its predecessor's design, while adding more functionality, solid key customizability, and a brand new set of media keys. Even if you've never been a fan of membrane switches, this one might just make a convert out of you, especially for that price. Razer Sinus Achroma, the best membrane gaming keyboard. If you demand a fully membrane gaming experience, the Sinus is the deck for you. It has some of the best feeling low-profile membrane keys I've ever tested, and is also one of the most affordable gaming keyboards out there. And while it may lack some of the features a number of gaming boards pack in these days, stuff like a dedicated wrist rest or media controls, it does boast Razer's extensive RGB lighting. Razer Huntsman Tournament Edition, best 10 keyless keyboard for gaming. Shelling out more than $100 for a great gaming keyboard is to be expected if you're serious with gaming performance. But the beauty of the Huntsman Tournament Edition is that it manages to deliver fast performance, without being the most expensive keyboard in town. True, there aren't a lot of features here, but it makes up for that by being small, and boasting a removable cable to make it perfectly portable for on-the-go gaming.
Rocket Vulcan Tkl Pro, an incredible 10 keyless keyboard with optical switches and a faultless design. The Rocket Vulcan Tkl Pro is a big-time keyboard in a small body. The headline here is Rocket's optical switches, which use beams of light to detect a press instead of mechanical movement. It still has a deeply satisfying click, but offers ludicrous speed for its response times. It results in a keyboard that's very high-priced considering it's missing a bunch of keys, but it definitely feels like a worthy investment, both as a physical object, and in how it performs during games. The bright LEDs within each key only add to the feeling of quality. They're stronger than most of the competition, and you can even supplement them with having your PC play a sound every time a key is pressed, like a laser blast. Not sure we'd necessarily recommend it, but hey. This is superbly designed, built to be solid, and offers simply fantastic control. It's well worth the outlay, if you're going 10 keyless. And, if you don't need optical switches, the standard Vulcan TKL is also available for less.
Kinesis Freestyle Edge RGB, the best ergonomic gaming keyboard. The original Freestyle Edge from Kinesis was one of the best split ergonomic keyboards on the market, and the upgraded RGB model improves on the original in a number of key ways. It retains the split design, allowing you to set the two halves of the deck at shoulder width and reduce back, neck, and shoulder strain. The additional lift kit accessory, which unfortunately doesn't come bundled with the keyboard, attaches to the bottom of the wrist rests, and lets you tilt the keyboard to face out towards your hands, at angles of 5, 10, or 15 degrees. The Freestyle Edge RGB is also incredibly customizable, with onboard storage for up to 9 user profiles, 9 dedicated macro keys on the left half, and the ability to customize every key individually, including on the entire layer that you access by pushing the FN key. It's fully programmable without the use of any additional software, though it can also be customized through Kinesis SmartSet software, for an even more granular experience. Logitech G Pro and Pro X, for pros, by pros. The Logitech G Pro mechanical keyboard is the first keyboard to carry the G Pro name. That means that it's one of Logitech's premium products aimed at serious competitive gamers, and it seems they hit the mark straight away on their first attempt. The G Pro is another less is more type of keyboard. You'll find the standard caps lock and scroll lock lights, as well as a button to activate gaming mode, which turns off the Windows key and other annoying features that can mess with your performance, and that's it. This keyboard is only available in the TKL version, to maximize space on often cramped tournament desks, and features Logitech's own Roamer G tactile switches. These offer a pretty unique typing experience. They've got a tactile bump, but they do feel a bit more membrane-ish than most other mechanical switches. However, they don't require a lot of force to press and have a very short travel distance, so it's definitely a reliable switch for gaming. The G Pro has a detachable cable, which is always a good thing for a keyboard aimed at professionals, since those people need to pack and unpack their gear nearly weekly. The body, despite being made of plastic, is pretty sturdy, so this is another good option for a reliable no-nonsense gaming keyboard. This one also has full RGB backlighting, so you can configure your board to match your setup. A step up from the standard G Pro, the Pro X features swappable switches, letting you choose the exact feel you want between Logitech's GX switches, available in blue clicky, red linear, and brown tactile sets. Removing and replacing the switches is simple, making it easy to customize your experience if you've got the money. It's modding made easy, and also one of the best esports keyboards around. Corsair K70 Rgb Mk.2, my favorite. The Corsair K70 Rgb Mk2 might look like any old, standard fare gaming keyboard, and it absolutely is, but that's also exactly why it's the best. Corsair's mainstay gaming keyboard has been refined over the years to give us this quintessential PC gaming peripheral. Rather than adding superfluous macro keys and an elaborate frame, the K70 focuses on what's important, with a sturdy aluminum body, 104 accurate and responsive key switches, media shortcut buttons with a volume wheel, and full per-key RGB illumination. Another thing that makes the Corsair K70 Rgb Mk2 particularly great for all gamers, is that you can find it with a variety of mechanical switches, including Cherry MX Brown, Blue, Red, Speed, and Silent. There are even 2 low-profile switch versions, if you find regular keycaps to be too tall for your liking. Throw in extra textured keycaps, USB pass-through, and attachable wrist rest, and you have a keyboard that has everything you could want. Steelseries Apex 3, the best budget gaming keyboard. Not all great gaming keyboards have mechanical switches. The budget-minded Steelseries Apex 3 may come with a few concessions, but it also boasts some impressive features that more than make up for those compromises. One of those features is its IP32 water resistance, for protection against any spills. Another is its reactive and customizable 10-zone RGB illumination. And, if you absolutely hate those clickety-clacking noises that mechanical keyboards love to make, you'll really appreciate this keyboard's whisper-quiet gaming switches. Hyperx Alloy Elite RGB, the gaming keyboard with extra flash and features. For a board lit in up to 16.9 million colors, the Alloy Elite sports a relatively simple aesthetic, while still packing the features we expect out of a quality gaming keyboard. It comes in your choice of Cherry MX Brown, Blue, and Red. What it lacks in a dedicated macro column, it makes up for with its reasonable price, quality, and durable design. The Alloy leaves no box unchecked in features. It's equipped with dedicated media controls, USB pass-through, a detachable wrist rest, and full RGB backlighting. To up its aesthetics, it also includes an extra set of silver keycaps. The board also supports full N key rollover, meaning you never have to worry about key presses not registering.